EDU TV with 1 million eyeballs across the globe.
Connecting schools, universities, industries, and corporate houses.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I am Pranav Thakurta, your host for today's edition of the show. We are about to embark on a fantastic journey exploring a topic crucial to every professional success: the impact of professional attire, dressing, and grooming in the workplace. Leading our discussion is the insightful Miss Nikita Tomar Maan. She's the principal of Indraprastha Global School, Noida, a seasoned expert in the world of professionalism. Together, we will uncover the significance of how we present ourselves at work and the lasting impression it creates. Throughout the program, we will unravel the unwritten rules, discuss the power of first impressions, and explore the culture nuance of workplace attire. I request Ms. Maan to take the program further. Over to you, Nikita ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Pranav. Thank you for that quick introduction and setting the tone for the discussion this morning. So it is my privilege to introduce our guests to the viewers. I would like to now introduce Mr. Joginder Singh Maan. He's the chairman of the Maan School, Delhi. He's the director of Flag House Hospitality and Resorts. He's an honorary member of Indian Public Schools Conference Trust. When I'm looking at Mr. Maan's, the different things that he's done in life, I think I just think of a person who can be as dynamic as him. It's very difficult to find people who've done so many sports and so seamlessly, because I think there's an achievement everywhere in the sport. Is not just having done it, it's having achieved in all those sports. So he's from the Birla Public School at Pilani, a very prestigious school, we all know, one of the best in India. He's been a school captain, he's been a band major, he's been member of the school horse riding, hockey, athletics, gymnastics, a district level swimming champion. He's been the parade commander with NCC, a black belt in karate. He's been a captain of the football team at Kirori Mal College. He plays the piano. He's authored a book called Let's Pray Before Our Meals, Life in Boarding Schools, because he's been an alumnus of a boarding school, a prestigious boarding school, awarded with the Indian Achievers Award for Outstanding Professional Achievement and Contribution in Nation Building by Indian Achievers Forum. Rudra Ratna Award by Bridge Bhumi Foundation, awarded Lifetime Achievement Award for Services in Community and Education by AKS Foundation, awarded the Global Edu Legend Award by Global School Leaders Consortium, and awarded ET Leadership Excellence Award by the Times Group. So, sir, again, I would just reiterate what I just told Dr. Bharti. I think Mr. Pranav has been very unkind to me by giving me 20 minutes for discussion and reading out an introduction for two people who have done so much in life. So it's a pleasure, being with the two of you this morning.
Just let me add. Nikita has done a lot of things in a very young age, and I would definitely do the introduction. And when people view it, definitely they will all know about what all Nikita has done. I will just add a small thing. She has made a AI lab for toddlers. I was very happy to see that in her school. And after she joined this school, the school has gone to great heights. In fact, number of admissions have increased. I went to the school after 4 or 5 years. I was very happy to see the sections were going to G and H. Over to you, Nikita ma'am. So I think Mr. Maan will be wonderful.
He's actually earned the rightful place to be in this discussion today, because he can shed a lot of light on this.
Yes.
So Mr. Maan, let me just, I think, begin with the discussion with you. How important you think is dressing up professionally in a workplace is? Does it bring a little more credibility to what you take to your workplace and people take you a little more seriously? or you think it is not always about just dressing up professionally, because there are some people who you may not find really dressed appropriately but may be competent enough. So how does one assess the impact of professional attire in a workplace?
Firstly, like the saying goes, the first impression is the best impression. So I think the first impression is, when you look at a person, it is how well the person is dressed, which is very important. It's a well-dressed person has a stride of their own. They have a challenging and authoritative aura of their own, which makes everyone follow their demeanor, the poise. They often exhibit confident and upright posture and relaxed attitude. Once you're dressed well, you're so confident about yourself in a workplace or wherever you go, in social circles, social life, or wherever. But along with that also comes other things, the way you communicate. Like you say, they could excel in something else as well. So the first thing is that you present yourself well, and then it comes the how well you communicate, your mannerisms, your etiquettes, and other things which follow. Because a well-dressed man, if he cannot talk, if he opens his mouth, everything is gone. Yes. And at a professional place, you not only represent yourself, you are representing a company, organization as well. Here I can give you two examples quickly. There are two multinational companies, one in Noida and one in Delhi. One is software company and one is into manufacturing auto parts world over. It's a multi-billion-dollar company, one of the finest in the world, I'll say. Both these companies have a grooming department of their own. In fact, this company in Noida has one floor dedicated to grooming. Now, they recruit engineers and MBAs. They're all qualified, well-educated people. The software company, well-qualified, educated people. But why do they need a department to be open for grooming? Just because they have to, once they are employed, because of their technical expertise, now they have to represent, they travel abroad. So they groom them for dining etiquettes, how to use a knife and a fork, what kind of dress, what combination of dress to wear. The software company person, I know both of these people, they take them shopping to shop for suits, what combinations and what shoes combinations and other things you should be wearing. Now the question is why they should be having this grooming thing at that level. Why can't it start at the school level? That's important. Now, this grooming thing, which is unfortunately, I'll say, is lacking from the beginning. It is the school's responsibility and, of course, the parents' responsibility. In a boarding school, a lot of things comes in from the boarding school itself. Like we have a finishing school. Now, it's a department. A finishing school is it's a uniquely curated curriculum which we have, whereby we teach these students from the beginning. And see, there's no investment, no time waste, no extra times, nothing. If they're dining, they're taught knife and fork, how to use the knife and fork, and what is the 4-course meal or a 10-course meal and other things. And I can proudly say our 100% students know how to use knife and a fork, and about 80-90% know how to use chopsticks and other things. So these are presentations which we need to learn from the beginning. And apart from this, the other skills of manners and etiquettes. Like we should be grilled from the primary level to say golden words of sorry, please, thank you, and excuse me. They should be on tip of our tongue that they keep slipping out. Sorry, excuse me. So these are things which are missing, which we need to emphasize on from the school level, so that these corporates do not have to train them. They come trained from the school level. And that will, I think, affect the psyche of any individual when they are in society. There will be a lot of happiness because there's a lot of confidence in people when they are well dressed and well behaved and all those kind of things.
Thank you so much. I think those are, I think that made a lot of sense, because you're right that first impressions are what, sets the tone for anything in life. And it's important to see that, before you can open your mouth and communicate, the person will look at you first before they engage with you for any kind of conversation. And sometimes, when you see people very casually dressed or very dandishly dressed, it's either which way. I mean, you may be very in sync with what is the latest, but it may not really be a formal attire, because you can have a casual smart wear as well, but you
Yes,
really need to understand what to wear when, and that's
true.
important.
That's important. And you see, wearing branded clothes also doesn't make all the difference. Of course,
True.
they are good branded clothes and things like that. Now, there's a trend of wearing Louis Vuitton bag, can carry, or a
Correct.
Louis Vuitton shoe, expensive things. But along with that comes your other skills. Otherwise, it
Correct.
is a waste. A person might wear branded clothes. The first impression, yes, but when you talk to them, oh, this person doesn't know the social etiquette something. I
So
say anybody entering my office, I think I can make out about the person within 3 to 4 to 5 minutes. One, how they are dressed up. Second, how they start the conversation, or is their mobile switched off, or the mobile rings in between, and of course their intelligence.
correct. So it's basically about the persona. So it's not just about the way you are dressed, but overall impression that you carry when you're speaking, how you carry yourself, how you dress, and like you said, using the right language when you're communicating with somebody, which is polite, which is full of etiquettes. I think that
Yes.
really makes an impression. I completely agree with you, sir.
I will
The
also like to request, I think Nikita
Please.
Tomar Man ma'am is the most elegant and she knows and most well-dressed principal in the country. I'll request ma'am to give some tips to the young girls who are graduating and post-graduating and getting into the corporate world. Over to you, Nikita ma'am.
Mr. Pranav, I personally feel even in our teaching profession, we are a school, and a lot of schools now allow you to wear Western formals as part of your attire. But sometimes, you have to be discerning as an individual. You should be able to understand the environment you are in, the kind of people who are around you, and what you really need to wear, to which place. Because sometimes I find that in that, rush to look chic and in sync with what is the latest, you pay little attention to the fact that you may have young children or growing children around you. So you need to be dressed in a way which does not draw too much attention to you as well. So it has to be subtle, it has to be classy, it has to be something which is not about you. It exudes professionalism, because idea is not to look really attractive. Idea is that just the way you carry yourself, you speak, and the way you dress talks about the kind of professional you are. Especially, say in our profession, if you're taking senior classes, you need to be very cautious about the kind of clothes you're wearing, whether it's ill fitting or very tightly fitting. Those are little things that we need to take care of. And I mean, everybody is given the independence to wear what they want, and we are not sitting on in judgment on what you should wear and what you shouldn't. We are only talking about a workplace attire, and I think that needs to exude professionalism. It needs to shift the attention to what you're wearing, to what is it that you bring to the table as a teacher. So that somewhere I find that sometimes you need to kind of take a meeting and inform all the young people who are coming into the profession. And I talk about men and women. I'm not only talking about women here, because you wearing your sports shoes with your formal trousers. I know it's in, but then that's okay if you're wearing it outside in your personal space. But as a professional at school, you're not making a statement where you're telling the children that I'm hip and happening. That is not what they should see you as somebody they respect. They should see you as somebody who's coming to teach them certain things and share your knowledge with them. So I think that is something that all our people in any industry need to understand. I'm sure even in corporate sectors, there are people who have to be formally dressed. There is a certain way in which you carry yourself, because it is a mixed crowd. I mean, all genders are around you. So do not, I think, drawing unnecessary attention to yourself, looking very dandyish, or very loud kind of dressing is something that we need to be able to understand. If we do not, I think sir is absolutely right. And perhaps that is the reason why corporates have decided that they need to focus on how you are grooming your people to be able to meet other people. You know, when professional meetings or business meetings, I'm sure it's a lasting impression. The seriousness of what you're bringing to the table comes through how you look and how you talk. And all of that has to be taught to people. They may be coming with very good intentions, with very good ideas, but how convincing you are and how you present yourself becomes equally important, I think, in all professions. So I very agree with the idea of what sir has said, that you need to have this taught at schools. We do. I mean, communication skills is something that we're already doing with the children, you know. The golden words, sorry, excuse me, thank you, all of that we do with the children. But yes, fine dining is something that, you know, there are certain classes that can be taken. Boarding schools, of course, it gets taken care of on its own. But I think even regular day schools need to have a certain time in the, you have general studies, there is an area that we do with senior classes. Maybe that is where you can take up, you know, fine dining skills with them. At
It's
least they
a,
should be
it's
able to
a,
use the cutlery. They should know what it is meant for, you know. So you don't cut a sorry figure when you go for a formal dinner setting and fine dining with clientele, and you have no idea what is to be done, because people around you observe. They may not say something to you, but they understand. And like you said, you represent your company, your organization, your school. So everything about you is not just about personally about you. It's about what organization you represent on the table. So I think I'm quite in agreement with what sir has said, that these are certain aspects that need to be taught to children. In fact, you know, I had the privilege of visiting uh, when we'd just taken a team for an inter-school competition to Harvard in November. We had the privilege of going to MIT as well. So when we went to MIT, there was this one student who was giving us a tour of the entire campus, and she just said that there's a course that they've introduced for all the people. Now we are talking about creme de la creme academicians, the ones who are the best at mathematics and physics and the sciences. She says, we've introduced the course of communication. So I asked this girl, I said, what made them introduce this? She says, you know, over a period of time, we've realized that a lot of them are nerds. They don't talk. They don't have the social skills. They do not know how to communicate the ideas that they have. And the
That's what I
importance
was.
of it has been felt so deeply by organizations that even Harvard has introduced it, and even MIT. So, I mean, you're actually a visionary, sir. I mean, this is something that we need to do early on in our school life. Yes,
Yes,
sir,
and,
please.
and I'll briefly add to this. You see, in our curriculum, it's apart from communications and other things, it's a very elaborate kind of a thing. And what makes a complete person is we have topics of time management, to be punctual on time. We have happiness curriculum. We have things like, how one should behave in a wildlife sanctuary, in a hospital, or what are elevator etiquettes, or when you go on tours and tracks, or traffic etiquettes, basic traffic etiquettes in schools, business, email and WhatsApp etiquettes, which is, I
Yeah,
think,
true.
required. I mean, people
Yes,
bothering every morning and things like that. Hygiene. Hygiene is something which is very important. You know,
correct.
and sports etiquettes. So I
Hmm.
think we are covering all these things. And if somebody takes about 80% out of this, I think it will be a complete gentleman or a gentle lady.
Correct. Wonderful idea, sir. I mean, a great takeaway from what you've said. I mean, these are not areas that schools really look at, but it's something you should look at because you're grooming them for the future. And we believe that every individual out there is born to be a leader, and to be a leader and to stand out. amongst other people in your vicinity, you should be able to have certain things which they have not learned at school and which you've learned at school. So you should, I think you don't need to wait to be at an age where suddenly you realize that I lack in these areas and I need to kind of come up to speed with them. If the schools have already taught it, it becomes a part of your personality, and you get a head start vis-a-vis other people who are coming minus these skills. So I completely agree with you, sir. Great ideas. And I'm definitely going to take some of them away from you and use it. So,
Good,
with your
Definitely.
permission, of course.
I think,
Knowledge is, I mean, it's one of the best things that can happen.
Absolutely, sir.
sir, Mr. Mann, as I will just
Yeah.
take it from there where you said you decide in 2-3 minutes about a person when he or she comes and meet you. Sir, we run a recruitment company called Career Crafts. We do a lot of campus interviews. In fact, majority of the recruitment heads tell me the same thing. Pranav, when a girl or a boy comes to us, within first 2 or 3 minutes, we decide we need to hire him or not. So, Mr. Mann, we would like to have your advice for all these universities across India. What is your message for the universities, placement heads, and even the students? Similarly, I'll ask Ms. Nikita also the same question. Over to you, Mr. Mann.
See, like I said, I mean, these things should start from the school, from the primary level. Schools and parents. Parents have a lot of role to play in this. For example, in a day school, a child goes home. So in the evenings, about these dinings and other social skills and telephone etiquettes and other things can be also taught by the parents and other things. So if they are groomed from the school itself, then I'm sure there won't be much of difficulty in hiring people or being in professions, or I think companies would not need to open these grooming schools and other things if they are groomed from the beginning. Another example which I'll give you, one of our student is working with an insurance company in a very senior position now, and from the day he joined, he was always in his ties and a blazer whenever he used to go to work. And his colleagues used to ask, in the corporate culture, we have, casual dressings and whatnot. They used to ask him, why are you always in tie? He says, I like to dress up well and things like that. And because of that, the company used to send him to interact with clients and other people because he was very presentable and things like that. And after a couple of years in his company, he got the best dressed person award in the same company. So these things do matter, which of course over a period of time, children should be learning. I mean, it's very unfortunate, I must admit, that things are not very, people are, I mean, there are very few schools, I will say, which are part of it in grooming students and other things. Like, for example, dining etiquettes. Dining etiquettes, I travel, I go to many schools. I don't think so. Many schools are really doing that, which is just not costing anything. It's the will of the schools or will of the parents in the house to groom their children. And if you groom the children, they'll be well behaved. It affects the psyche of the child also. That's very important. And there will be happiness in the society.
I am taking a liberty to invite Miss Nikita Tomar and Dr. Bharti to the Mann School. I've been to this school. Ma'am, looks like I've come to some other world. So nicely, everything is so nicely done. And the students, young boys with pocket squares and the dining hall. So whenever I go to Mr. Mann's place, we definitely have lunch or breakfast out there. And I'm Nikita ma'am, you should visit, and Dr. Bharti also. We should organize a visit out there.
Just a brief example also, which again, it makes a difference. Last month there was a students' conference in Indore. I'm forgetting the school's name, whereby there were about 450 students and teachers of schools. They were there. It was a 3 or 4 day conference of students. And we got a call from there. We had about 7-8 students and a teacher of ours participating there. We got a call from there from 2-3 principals who were there attending, congratulating our principal. Mr. Shriram is our principal. who was earlier with Mayo College, Ajmer, and he's with us now for the last 4 years, congratulating that your students are so well turned out. And apart from that, they said it's not only the turnout of the students during the daytime in class and wherever they are. They said we are surprised, pleasantly surprised, that during the meal times,
Yes.
they knew their etiquettes, dining etiquettes. So that was a proud moment for us, that out of 450 students, compliments coming from other school
Yes.
principals, and they were clicking photographs with our students in uniform. We felt very proud, and I think a job well done.
Absolutely, sir.
EDU TV with 1 million eyeballs across the globe.
Connecting schools, universities, industries, and corporate houses.